culture is actually damn good.
We just got like egg in there.
I see that the football gods have heard our complaints about how dismal Thursday night football has been. Or at least we can pretend that happened. For those that watched this game over the litany of baseball and hockey on television, you got to see an offensive showcase. Russell Wilson continuing to cement his status as one of the elite quarterbacks in this league. Jared Goff, he tried to keep up. Kinda did, but he wasn't near the caliber of Wilson. Deep into the fourth quarter, the Rams are ahead in this affair, but Seattle is charging quickly. Oh yeah, Clay Matthews is on the Rams now, isn't he? Here's a roughing the passer call for merely existing. It certainly isn't for this shoulder-to-shoulder hit, isn't it? That happens nearly every week and is never called. As punishment, the Seahawks are rated to a lead-seizing touchdown. Chris Carson's ridiculous luck not included. Even then, the Rams still have a chance. That was before one of the greatest interceptions I've ever seen. That's some Houdini shit Tedrick Thompson pulled. Seattle has the ball back but tries to get too damn cute with it. The Rams have possession again and the Seahawks defense can't stop shit. LA's getting this victory because Zerline ain't missing.
Zerline missed it!
That's the one thing that surprises me in this game. Seahawks fans are now back to being incredibly insufferable, and why wouldn't they? They only took out the division leader at home. I probably would be too. Hail to the Redskins, now with a fan base that stopped giving the slight shit that it somehow had. This even comes with a season highlight of having a lead against the New England Patriots. NFL media has their game preview footage for the rest of the year. That's all they need though, as the Redskins are predictably massacred in an act of manifest destiny. Unlike history, we are in full support of this obliteration. Dan Snyder's meddling in drafting Dwayne Haskins isn't going to get him ruined just yet. Jay Gruden has chosen to start Colt McCoy to relive the James Harrison hit for 60 consecutive minutes. It went about as well as you'd expect. New England goes to an incredibly unconvincing 5-0 as Jay Gruden smokes weed and hits on women. Sorry man, but saying I'm the coach of the Washington Redskins doesn't really get the girls wet. If I had to work for such a shithole organization, I'd be trying to get fired too. To the surprise of no one, Jay Gruden has been fired a year and a half too late. Remember, as bad as he was, this does nothing. Jay Gruden is merely a lackey to the clowns at the top running the show. This is proven now that they get another puppet in Bill Callahan to destroy everything left. It's the Dan Snyder way.
How would you describe the culture surrounding this football team?
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
I see you're getting into the single malt collection early today, Bruce. Philly, it appears you're facing the butt fumble. Enjoy your glorified bye week. The Jets are garbage and you have a pulse. Call this your reward for that gutsy win at Lambeau last week. You have the honor of going up against a so-called offensive genius whose team hasn't scored a point in 28 offensive drives. To think that Le'Veon Bell is probably slowly dying thanks to having none of the insulation he had in Pittsburgh. I'd feel for that poor bastard, but he did this to himself. Unlike Luke Falk, whom was sacked 9 times and is probably requiring a colostomy bag as we speak. Who knew that not giving him first-team reps until Friday was idiotic? That may have gotten you 3 points at best, goddammit! It's time for the most ignominious words in the football landscape. Yes, the season's first Tank Bowl! Before we dig into the contest, let's go over the ground rules. The goal is to lose the game. Yes, completely against any sort of athletic ambition, but the prize of Tua is one that requires sacrifice. A meaningless win will only bring false hope and prolonged futility. In this affair, the Bungles have seemingly been bred into the tank. Their offense has regressed from below average to a futility that would make the 74 Falcons proud. Red Rifle is shooting blanks as the Cardinals are doing something. I mean, they still fancy themselves as competitive, so it makes sense that they're trying. This is when Cincy needs to impress the 64 fans in attendance and ties up the game late. The tank is in jeopardy, but it's here where they remember the rules of the game and lie down to die. Arizona walks all over their defense as they kick the winning field goal. Congratulations, Cincy, you have won the first Tank Bowl, but great challenges and failure await. There will be many on the team desiring you to win, but do not trust them. Embrace the ineptitude. Even as Arizona wins their first game of the season, they received word that their longtime owner Bill Bidwell died over the week. I'm torn on this one. Yes, someone is dead and I feel for their family. But let's be real, Bill Bidwell was a terrible owner. Incredibly cheap, lacked football savvy, a man whose main legacy will be in mostly irrelevant football and keeping the Cardinals as a punchline for years. I don't have much trust in Michael Bidwell to do any better, but I will spare any more bite out of respect for the situation. Let's just say I won't really miss him from an owner's perspective. It's been a rough week for the Vikings. Everyone in the world is blaming Kirk Cousins for their failures, but last week wasn't really his fault. That was more on the defense he was facing. Adam Thielen called it the passing attack as Stephon Diggs deliberately missed practice and sent cryptic messages about wanting out of this misery. Don't worry, Minnesota, the next team you're facing isn't over 500. This means that Kirk Cousins will be reunited with his quarterbacking talents and allow you to dominate. There was also that Dalvin Cook guy. Yeah, it was an issue as well. Yes, the New York Football Giants have a terrible defense and aren't anywhere near a viable foe, but take whatever the fuck you can get. Every week I see the Falcons continue to woefully underperform their talent level. It makes me wonder how they even got to blow a 28-3 lead in the first place. If this was in their so-called heyday, even Mike Smith would be pulling his hair out in frustration. It doesn't matter how good that offense can be. If Dan Quinn's specially crafted defense can't even stop a snail, let alone the transcendent talents of Deshaun Watson, why should we take you seriously? Atlanta needed this victory more than a fly needs shit, yet they somehow proceeded to flop on the ground at every turn. We're expecting less and less out of you every given week, yet we are somehow still let down. No, don't expect heads to roll. Arthur Blank has grown complacent and doesn't give a fuck about the team's abysmal performance. It's about what I'd expect after all the failure I've seen over the past 5 years. God, what a waste. New Orleans, after a bizarre victory against the Cowboys at home, are looking to accomplish the same goal against a divisional rival. The Buccaneers may not have the reputation, but they put the football world on notice after bitch slapping the Rams. In the comforts of the Superdome, New Orleans proceeded to keep a steady distance against them and their hungry opponent. The Saints' defense, for as iffy as they may be, kept famous Jameis in check for most of the game, with Mike Evans ghosted as a result. Teddy Bridgewater, quite possibly his best game as a pro, with over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Tampa Bay continues to frustrate as inconsistency plagues every aspect of their game. Seriously, you could be so much more, boys. In the Music City, a defensive battle is taking place. Bills and Titans squaring off in a matchup with future playoff implications. Marcus Mariota did his typical thing of being invisible and ineffective when things mattered, but the game was still within grasp. Tennessee needs a hero. This is the story of Cairo Santos. Any hope you may have is kicked wide. Chip shot 36-yarders, kicked even wider. Even Marcus Mariota proceeds to help out by going past the line of scrimmage on this touchdown, which led to a blocked kick. You'd think the trifecta would be good for Santos, but he wanted his version of a golden sombrero. 4 missed kicks and he looked awful doing so. I would send him to the unemployment line, but he will probably miss it wide as well. Titans, enjoy your new kicker, Cody Parkey.
¡No! ¡Falló! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡No, señor! ¡Los Eagles se van!
Fucking kill me, please. I want you to take this drill and keep pressing it into my brain until I stop moving. Too much happened and I need to separate this game because this series refuses to die. Fuck. The game in front of you today is what we call a crossroads game. A matchup that can change the course of a season thanks to momentum and weak conferences in the case of Jacksonville. 2 young quarterbacks still eager to make their mark on the football landscape when their teams were left for dead. If today were any further indication, this is Christian McCaffrey's world. We are merely living in it. Pure assertion of the ground game, putting Carolina to a convincing lead early. Even the Jaguars' offensive line was in awe of its running power and forgot to protect their own QB. Even as Gardner Minshew tries to will his team back to victory, his line still can't guard their mustachioed savant. Despite the advantage, the Panthers aren't out of the woods yet. There is still one last gasp.
Minshew looking end zone again. He's got 4 receivers down there.
Carolina felt like giving them a mulligan. They get one more last gasp. Jumping the gun, eh? You're gonna stop teasing us?
Minshew scrambling. Minshew chased by Addison now. Throws. Can he get it to the end zone? He cannot.
Finally! Welcome to London, a home where the time difference can kill you if you don't take it seriously. The Bears didn't heed this warning as they didn't get to Crumpet Land until Thursday. Jet lag is a thing, you know. It showed throughout the first half as Oakland did, well, that against you. Did the whole team accrue a 50,000-pound tab like the Jags did last year? It seemed like it. The time zone difference inspired Oakland to accrue a 17-point advantage heading into halftime with no signs of stopping. This is when the Raiders decide it's a great idea to collectively raise the blood pressure of their fan base and give up 21 unanswered. The win in jeopardy, critical fumbles aplenty, a return to irrelevance all but ensued. But the Bears can't do anything with it. Oakland did what needed to be done. They shut down Khalil Mack. They pushed on the final drive to secure the touchdown. Even then, the Bears still have plenty of time on the clock and should at least tie, right?
Chase Daniel going up top, and it's intercepted!
Who was that intended to? Just aiming for a random target on the field or something, Chase? Bears if you only had an offense. In a world of agonizing suck, the Broncos at least get the luxury of being the best 0-4 team in the NFL. A small consolation, but the doctor prescribes the perfect cure for their ailment. A meet-up with their punching bag in the Chargers. Once again, though, it's a tale of halves. The first half, just like last week, was convincingly strong. The defense making turnovers for the first time all year. Ellie being unable to make a tackle. Philip Lindsay's abilities finally being unlocked because Elway paid for the DLC. In the second half, the offense went blander than the light beer that's main strength is being cold. Only difference was that this time the Chargers couldn't capitalize whatsoever. Be it from missed field goals to Philip Rivers having a terrible game to general ineffectiveness on offense, the Chargers chose to have another frustrating game full of underachieving. Vic Fangio gets his first win as a coach, giving them a weak pulse for their season. The Chargers simply asking, why? Let the Dallas Cowboys be a lesson to all those who want to crown a team champion after a few games of play. The harder the opponent Dallas plays, the more mortal they become. This is definitely the point for Dak Prescott, who had as awful a first half as you could imagine. It doesn't matter that the Packer offense was mainly carried by Aaron Jones. You're not going to win many games when the star-powered attack doesn't wake up until well in the third quarter. Even Jason Garrett threw his challenge flag in frustration, and was flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct. The Packers like to lord over the Cowboys, and today was no different. But as I'm seeing, Green Bay has the Cinderella effect. Every time it hits halftime in a game, the Packers' overall play as a team starts to turn into a pumpkin. This will allow Dallas to come back into the game with a chance at true redemption. I hope the little darling cherishes this mess up. By the way, I hope these little darlings are happy with this roughing the passer call. The dude just touched him on the fucking helmet! In a week of awful calls, this may be the worst. Talent is a driving factor in the NFL. Just look at Kansas City and their offensive firepower. However, allow me to emphasize the power of what good coaching can do to a team as well. The Indianapolis Colts. A team that was shaken to its core by the face of their franchise unexpectedly retiring. A team many, including myself, wrote off as a result. They put together quite possibly the best game planning I've seen all year. I know Chiefs fans will make the argument for injuries and Mahomes showing a visible limp, but you must tip your hat to Indy. The unrelenting swarm of defense, making their offensive line look like sieves. The Colts' offensive line forming an iron curtain around Brissett and company. They were smothering, they were relentless, and they were near perfect. Even then, they only got 19 points thanks to the recalibrated leg of Adam Vinatieri. I still have questions about your sustainability, but I have definite respect for a job well done. You earned this win, boys. Keep it up. You see this run by Matt Breida? That is the equivalent of how this game went. The 49ers are undefeated but still have many skeptical about their ambitions. They need to make a statement by punching a team in the mouth repeatedly. And what better target than the formerly poor kid whose parents won the lottery and suddenly thinks he's hot shit? With the utter ass-whooping the Niners put on, you'd think Cleveland was being coached by Jim Harbaugh since they look like Michigan whenever they play a real college program. Total frauds in every aspect of play. Where's the attention to detail? Where is the sense of an overall game plan? What the fuck is Freddie Kitchens even doing besides trying to play Madden? Unfortunately, your opponents aren't AI that have the clock management skills of a 6-year-old. This wasn't just annihilation, it was a tactical spanking. Baker Mayfield looked like pure shit, and that's probably one of the nicer assessments of his game. Kyle Shanahan read Cleveland like a book. It just happened to be Go Dog Go by P.D. Eastman. And I thought Atlanta was wasting talent. The gods always demand sacrifice. Let us lament those we have lost this week.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost. Unit lost.
May the fallen be blessed in the football afterlife. Amen.
Mahomes flushed out again, all the way back. Turning the corner, fires downfield, caught, touchdown. Only Mahomes. Byron Pringle